Carson Wentz trade destinations coming at you here at Chat Sports. Mitchell, Renz, Harrison, Graham. But we couldn't do this show because, well, we're able to do this show because of Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/chat, 20% off and free shipping. They're keeping the lights on. They want us to be able to continue to do shows, and hopefully you go support our sponsors. So, Carson Wentz, he wants out.
That's what it seems, at least, according to the latest reports. I think this is a classic agent leaking this to the media here that, hey, Carson wants out unless he's renamed the starter by Doug Peterson. I don't know if he means for next season or if he means right away. I assume he means heading into the offseason. He wants assurance that he's the Eagles starter, and if he's not, he wants out. Jalen Hurts might just snatch that from him. If this continues the final 2 weeks and Hurts plays at a high level, Carson Wentz might be on the trade block, Mitch. He might be heading out of Philadelphia. And the question is, A, can you find a trade partner for him?
True.
And B, does anyone want to trade for that contract? Because he's owed over $100 million over the next 4 seasons. Sure, you can get out of it for limited dead cap after 2021, but it's not a great contract for a guy who's putting up, let's call it what it is, horrific numbers this year.
I mean, it's not even the fumbles. I mean, he's fumbled 10 times, only lost 4 of them, but just an absolute turnover machine. And it's not just so much the team itself, it's the mechanics. His mechanics have gone just in the garbage. And it's really hard to believe because, well, he was an MVP candidate in 2017. So it's kind of hard to imagine that it's been this far of a hill spin for him. But what should Philly do with Wentz? Type K for keep him, type T for trade. Honestly, man, if I was Philly, I'd be like, get out of here. We gave you all this money. You didn't bring us a Super Bowl. You've really only been successful in the regular season. And now you're crying like a little girl because you're getting outplayed. If somebody wants him, take him. That's what I would say. I
would trade him if I'm Philly. I'd take my chances with Hurts. I tell Jalen Hurts next year, you got a chance this year. If you flame out, we're drafting a quarterback. If it works out, you're our guy. You're the franchise. That's what I do if I'm Philadelphia. All of a sudden, does Alshon Jeffrey look like the bad guy anymore? I don't know. That's the ultimate plot twist of this whole storyline.
Alshon Jeffrey is as soft as tissue paper. Get rid of him, too.
Good guy Alshon. Who would have thought that here in 2020? K for keep or T for trade?
Let's get in now to our Carson Wentz destinations, Harrison. We're going to count from 5 down to 1 of the most likely trade destinations if Philly does decide to move on from him. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's going to stay in PA.
I think this is contingent on one thing and one thing only. Does Big Ben want to play another year or not?
Bingo.
If he does, if you're the Steelers, you give him that opportunity because of what he's done to this franchise. And he's still done good enough here in 2020 where he's worth bringing back for one more year. It's kind of like Breeze in New Orleans. He's not what he was, but he's still good enough if he wants to play another year. It's the same thing with Big Ben. The arm strength certainly isn't there, but if he wants to retire, we know Mason Rudolph ain't it.
Yeah, and Doc Hodges definitely ain't it.
Yeah, well, he's gone anyway at this point. Paxton Lynch, no thank you. Big Ben still putting up solid numbers there, but there's been murmurs maybe, especially if the Steelers make a deep run, he could walk away.
He said today that he's coming back. However, I don't believe anything that Ben Roethlisberger says because every single year he'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm coming back. And then every single offseason, he's like, well, I don't know. I might retire. Like, literally last week,
he's Brett Favre.
Dude,
he's the new Brett Favre.
I don't know if anybody will be the new Brett Favre. But, hey, will Big Ben retire after the season? Y for yes or type N for no. He did say that he's coming back, but I'm sorry, call me crazy. I don't believe anything that Big Ben has said ever his entire career.
I would lean yes, but if he doesn't, Wentz would be interesting because the Steelers are a stable franchise. Maybe they could hit the reset button.
If they win the Super Bowl, I think he's gone. Like, I don't think he comes back. I think you ride off into the sunset.
Yeah,
Y for yes, or you can type your N for no. If you only have a Ben and you're looking to get a Big Ben, go get the perfect package, 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped.com/chat is how you're going to be able to do it. So what comes in that perfect package, Harrison? You get the Lawnmower 3.0. I'm telling you what, football, game of inches. So is life. You know what I'm talking about. And honestly, when you trim it up down there, it does. It looks bigger. Like, you can see it fits great in your hand, works great in the shower. What are you going to say?
I was going to say that was a smooth line or two, and if you want to be smooth, Manscaped is the place for you. Go to manscaped.com/chat. Get the Lawnmower 3.0. It's a part of the perfect package. It comes with ball toner, ball deodorant, the most comfortable boxers you've ever had, and a travel kit. You can even throw your toothpaste and stuff in there as well when you go on vacation, if we're ever allowed to do that again. Manscaped.com/chat, 20% off plus free shipping. The perfect package comes with everything you could ever want in a men's grooming kit package. Manscaped.com/chat. They have other products as well. They have nose trimmers and all kinds of stuff. Go check it out. Manscaped.com/chat. Get 20% off plus free shipping. That link will be in the comments, in the description. Trust me, your balls will thank you.
Here's some other potential suitors that didn't quite make our top 5, but again, with the Atlanta Falcons, what do they do with Matt Ryan? The Denver Broncos, hey, they love being able to try to figure out quarterbacks. Drew Lock, he's not the answer. And then for the Detroit Lions, Matthew Stafford. There's been a lot of rumors around him potentially not coming back. So here are some other teams that just didn't quite make our top 5.
I think they're distant options, but in the right circumstances, it could happen. That's why I wanted to include these teams. Denver's the ultimate wild card. What do they do at quarterback next year? Do they give Locke another year? I'm not super impressed. Maybe they could trade for Carson Wentz.
At number 4 in our Carson Wentz destinations, it's the Chicago Bears. And, hey, let's just keep trying to bring an old Philly quarterback.
This is a fascinating situation with Chicago because 3 weeks ago, it was, and for me, it still mostly is, but 3 weeks ago, it was like a lock. You're drafting, trading, or signing a quarterback.
Yep.
Like, you don't have the quarterback on your roster. Then, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Mitchell Trubisky decides, I'm going to play the best ball of my career the next 3 weeks. Now, it's been 3 games against bad defenses. I need to see a lot more. To me, the only chance they gamble and stick with Trubisky is if he leads them to the playoffs and probably wins a playoff game.
That'd be wild.
Like, it has to be notable. Like, because we've got, what, Mitch, 2.5 years of evidence where he's not good enough? Yeah, these
not
past
only
4
not
starts,
good, terrible.
He's been great the past month. But it's 4 games. Like, that's not enough for me. I need to see more. But I will say this. This situation has not finalized in Chicago. It is not a set-in-stone situation anymore like it was a month ago that the quarterback of the future isn't on the roster. There's now a tiny chance that he could be in Trubisky if things finish strong here in 2020. I'm not there yet. I still think they'll probably go in a different direction, but there's at least a possibility. Now, I got the Bears at 4 here. The reason I don't have them higher also is you traded for Foles last offseason, and that bursted into flames. Do you want to do that again? Do you want to trade more draft assets? If you're the Chicago Bears, I'm not so sure. Who will be the Bears quarterback next season? Let us know real quick. Who do you think starts week 1 next year? I have no idea.
I was just going to say, that's such a loaded question. There's a lot of other quarterbacks in free agency. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to go Trey Lance.
Okay. They're playing their way out of quarterback in round 1 range. That's the problem too. So
I'm going to go Trey Lance. So you want an outside the box thought? I'm going to go Trey Lance.
I like it.
Let's get in now to our top 3, the San Francisco 49ers, who have just had an injury-riddled season, but this one comes down to Jimmy G. And is he going to be there? I don't know.
The obvious answer is Jimmy G's their quarterback. They're coming off a Super Bowl run. But we saw them flirt with Tom Brady last offseason, who was 43 years old. Jimmy G has barely played this year.
When they lost that Super Bowl, and I think 49ers fans saw how great Patrick Mahomes was, and they're like, Garoppolo's a good quarterback.
But can we get better?
And that's the question. Like, if you're okay being subpar average, don't buy Manscaped. I'm telling you right now. But if you want to be better than average,
Go to Manscaped.
Go to Manscaped.
If you want these other
and get rid of Jimmy
brands,
Garoppolo.
you can do that. But Manscaped is the peak of the crop there. So that's just kind of how things work in life and at quarterback. And you look at Jimmy G's contract. Say the Niners like, you know what? We think we can bring Wentz in here and we can maximize him. We can get him back on track. You can get out of this deal for Jimmy G. You can cut him after this year for less than $3 million dead cap. So that's not an issue. The money's not the problem with San Francisco. It's, do they think Wentz can come in and be a significant upgrade from Jimmy G? Because that's the only way you do this if you're San Francisco.
See, that's the multi-million-dollar question. So we're going to ask y'all, who's the better quarterback? Jimmy Garoppolo or Carson Wentz? So, sure, how about pick a quarterback that could play for San Francisco? Because I also think a lot of those offensive options and that offensive line matter.
It is interesting. Wentz has the better upside because we've seen it.
Clearly.
We've seen him be an MVP candidate. His floor is also much lower as we've seen this year. Both guys have some injury history.
But if I'm
I stick with
Wentz,
JG,
I
think.
would love to play for a guy like Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. You kidding me? In that offense, you can run the football like that, get some play action going. I would be thrilled if I was Carson Wentz. I'd probably stick with Garoppolo if I'm San Francisco, but let us know what you think.
Well, how about this? If Carson Wentz is traded or if any big-time quarterback player is traded, we're going to be making a video on it. So make sure you guys don't miss it. And how So you make sure you don't miss it. You hit that big red button right underneath the video that says subscribe, and you want to be an overachiever, turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss anything. We're dropping new videos every single 3 hours here on the channel. But the videos that we love doing the most are the breaking news ones around a big-time trade. And if it does happen, we're going to be making a video, so don't miss it. Let's now get into the top 2, and this is where it gets fun. The New England Patriots. Bill Belichick gets Carson Wentz, gets the dynasty back.
Yeah, exactly. The Patriots are always a wild card when it comes to major trades, right? We saw them ship out Jimmy G when he was clearly their future at quarterback, and they just, see ya, we'll trade a second round, we'll get a second round for him. I'm not going to say it's super likely, but I will say this. They don't have their quarterback of the future on the roster. Cam Newton, not the same guy. 5 touchdown passes this year. 5.
He's got 11 rushing.
I mean, yeah, you know.
It was fun for like the first 2 weeks, and he had 4 passing touchdowns like the first 4 weeks or 3 weeks, and he's had 1 since. It's been that bad.
And his defense, and the reason I would pause if I wanted to pursue Carson Wentz is they have no weapons on the outside. None whatsoever. N'Keal Harry, he's been a bust up to this point. Damiere Byrd sucks, and he's basically their number 1 receiver at this point. Edelman's been hurt. He's pretty much done at this point, I think.
Yeah.
If I'm him, I want out, and I want to go play for a contender anyway, or a much higher level contender than the Patriots potentially could be. Jarrett Stidham's not the answer. I think the Patriots are a dark horse in here. Like, hey, the ultimate franchise that you can, say, hey, we're going to pause, we're going to slow things down for Carson Wentz. We got Josh McDaniels who can work well with quarterbacks. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm very fascinated to see how the Patriots kind of cruise through this quarterback market this offseason. They have a ton of money. They bit the bullet this year financially. Next year, though, tons of money available to spend.
At number 1, it's the Indianapolis Colts. And out of all the teams that we just mentioned, I thought this was the clear-cut number 1, and it's simple. Wentz had his best season under Frank Reich with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2017. And if there's somebody that I would be confident in that could get his mechanics back, it would be Frank Reich, who has done a phenomenal job in Indy.
Yeah, look, Frank Reich, his former OC in Philadelphia, this just seems obvious, right? Like,
yeah.
And for a couple of reasons. 1, Frank Reich. 2, Phillip Rivers and Jacoby Brissett are free agents. That money's off the books. Colts already have a ton of money, so that's not the issue. There's no financial burden, and you've got a coach who believes in Carson Wentz. This feels like the perfect Carson Wentz can reset his career in a smaller market team where there's not a ton of national focus here, a much nicer fan base than Philadelphia. He can play indoors in a dome. Like, this makes sense. Look at what he did under Reich in 2017. He had the best season of his career. The completion percentage a little down there, but fringe MVP guy that year. Yep. Can he get back to that level? I think it's possible. It's clearly in him somewhere. Go to a coach who believes in you. You have some weapons. You can run the football and play some defense as well. Indy is clearly the favorite to trade for Wentz if the Eagles do end up doing so.
I mean, honestly, I think Wentz is better than Brissett, better than Eason. I don't know if he is better than Phillip Rivers right now, but I will give the Colts a lot of credit. They have one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in all of football, which have done a great job keeping Phillip Rivers upright. Plus, you got a young, very talented running back in Jonathan Taylor.
Yep.
I'm Carson Wentz. I think one of the biggest issues right now with him in Philly is he's worried that he's going to get hit every single snap with all the issues they've had on the offensive line. So, hey, I'd actually be willing to maybe take a little bit of a, I don't know if he could take a pay cut, go to Indy and play behind that offensive line and get his career back on track.
Yeah.
Also, Indy has also shown this. They're not really afraid to throw money away when it comes to quarterbacks. I mean, think about it. They gave Andrew Luck like $92 million guarantee when he decided to retire.
They're paying Rivers and Brissett a combined like $44 million this year.
Brissett was going to make $22 million. They're like, you sit.
Yeah, Wentz is overpaid, but you're still going to be paying less overall because Rivers and Brissett are off the books. And yeah, is Phillip Rivers a better quarterback today? Probably, but at most he has 1 year left. If you get Wentz back on track, you have a decade of them.
Yeah.
So, I think this could be a gamble worth taking if you're Indianapolis. So where will he play in 2021? Sorry to cut you off there. I'm so eager because I want to know what's going to happen. I'm so fascinated by this Philadelphia's development here. Yeah. Where's he going to play in 2021, Mitch?
So, for me, I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts. It's obviously why they were the number 1 team on our list. But, hey, y'all, everyone who's watching us live, scrolling down in the comment section, let us know where he's going to play in 2021.